Kim.
I'm Brad.
We're 6260 Ohana, California, and today we're going to be talking to you about the pros and cons at staying at the Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, we actually got to go there. It was one of our bucket list items, and so we're going to tell you what we discovered while staying there.
Okay, so this was kind of a cool thing. We stayed in an RV, we drove cross country, and it was amazing.
Yeah, over 2,000 miles of doing this.
All right, but let's get into the pros and cons once we got to the Fort Wilderness.
Okay, so let's go into one of the first things you do when you get to Fort Wilderness is check in.
That was so easy.
Yeah, you basically drove up, and they took everything from there. It was nice and simple.
They basically gave us a site map, told us where to go, gave us something to hang in our mirror, and we were off.
Yeah, that's great. The good thing to know about is after you check in, there are pull-off sites, so you can actually unhook a car if you're towing a car, so you're not in everybody's way while you're trying to unhook everything and things like that. So that's a nice, simple way to have, and they'll point those out to you on the map.
All right, well, you don't have to just stay in an RV to go there. You can either stay in a tent or a cabin as well.
Yeah. So you got a couple great options. Originally, this was designed by Walt Disney to have an affordable option for people to be able to stay on property at Walt Disney World while they went to the parks.
Yeah, it was really affordable considering what we'd stay at using DVC points or a deluxe resort, and there's so many amenities and
we'll get into those.
So that's really kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the RV sites. And this is where we had the experience with. The RV sites are depending on what size you want and what amenities you want. We did stay in a really big RV site. I can't remember what size it was.
Okay, so there's 3 types of RV sites you could stay on. Obviously, location and size are going to take into account what you pay for. And of course, there's tent-only sites. So those can be a little cheaper for those who want to try camping at Disney World.
And also depends on what loop you're staying into of how much those sites could be. Well, let's go ahead and take an example of our site. We did have a fairly large site, and barely getting in and out, I was kind of nervous at first backing in. We've got a 32 Class C RV, and I was kind of thinking it might be a little tight, but we got right into it, no problems. And now this site was probably meant for more of a fifth wheel or a big Class A to go into. And there's where some of the little bit of a trouble that we had, and something you may want to be aware of when you're trying to do your hookups, is that our water was actually way forward compared to our electricity, which was all way in the back. So we actually had to have an extension cord to our electricity to make the box for our 30 amp service. So it's something to be aware of. Our hoses, we actually had to kind of go a little bit farther, so you may want to have extensions depending on how big that site is and where those services are located. So it's something to be aware of.
Okay, so those are kind of the cool things. There are tons of different choices to stay at. The site we were at, we were right next to kind of one of the laundry bathhouses, and so we were right next to where they do something called the Chip and Dale Campfire SingAlong. So that was kind of a nice thing to have.
And they also have movies in the stores in that location as well.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah. So that was kind of nice. Yeah, with the laundry areas, they were awesome.
Yeah,
really.
it was huge.
Yeah, they had a huge area. They do get busy, but the great thing is you can use credit cards to be able to get your machines to work, which was great for us because who really wants to carry a whole bunch of change and cash with you?
Okay, so one of our favorite things at the Fort Wilderness is the Hoopity-Doo review. Right now, it is not back since the pandemic. There's rumors all around. We don't know if it's coming back, but if it does, it's one of our traditions no matter where we're staying to go see the show.
Yeah, that would have been great to be able to stay when we're staying there, to be able to just go right to it and back. That's great.
Okay, and also know they do a seasonal one for Christmas, so that's kind of something fun if you want to try it.
Okay, and so that gets us into our dining options at Fort Wilderness, and what do you have? Well, it's kind of slim pickings. See what I did there?
Very good. All right, so there is, besides the Hoopity-Doo review, and I will link that review below, there's only quick service, and there's only 3 quick service for such a large resort, because some of these RV sites, you can also have a tent on there too, so you can imagine the amount of people per site.
But again, that's why you RV, right? So you can bring your kitchen, your living room, your whole home with you.
I can honestly say we did not cook the whole time we were there.
I don't know why.
Yeah, dining options at Disney or cook yourself, geez.
Yeah. So if
that's a hard choice.
So if you want something more than the quick service or the hoop-de-doo, you are going to have to be going off to different areas to be able to go do those.
Okay, so we went to the Trails End restaurant, and it got kind of, especially for morning, it was really backed up.
Yeah, we actually did the online mobile ordering at that point, and really it was faster to order at the counter than it was doing the mobile online pickup for us. And I don't know why. That's just the way it worked out for us that time.
It happens at Disney. But anyways, we just wish there was a few more, or at least one table service of some sort. It doesn't have to, I mean, like over at Wilderness Lodge, they have the Whispering Canyon Cafe, which is not the most up class, but it fits in with the resort. It'd be nice if they had something like that at the Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, well, done with food. What should we go to next?
Transportation.
Beep, beep.
All right. One of the coolest things is the boats to the Magic Kingdom. I love that boat ride. It is so relaxing, and it just kind of takes a little stress away. It's very scenic.
Yeah, it's actually a really neat ride. You get to see abandoned Disney park on the way, and also a tree full of shoes.
Okay, so the tree full of shoes is actually from the boat captains are retiring. So on their last day, they take a boat out and they throw their pair of shoes over the tree. So we'll put a picture, so it's kind of cool to see that. It's a nice little tribute.
Yeah, and it's just a great relaxing ride all the way to Magic Kingdom. And there is another option that unfortunately is not running at this moment, but it has in the past. Is something that be nice if it came back is the Resort Inner Loop.
So that boat would go to Wilderness Lodge, and they have another one over to the Contemporary. So that would give you monorail options. It would give you another way to get, for dining, things like that, because when we were there, we ideally would have liked to gone over to Artist Point, Whispering Canyon Cafe as well, and that's a really easy way to go back and forth. Next, of course, you have is the internal bus system.
Yeah, so basically, it's a large resort.
It is massive.
So you have internal buses that are running a loop from inside the campground that will take you to the front, so you can get to the main transportation area to go to the parks or to Disney Springs or whatever.
Or also take you up front to the Tri-Circle D Ranch, which we'll get to in a little bit, explain what that is. But kind of the other inner loop is if you were to the back and you wanted to go to the Meadows swimming pool, then it would kind of take you up there or to Hoopity-Doo or to the boat. So there's the inner loops of different directions. So you kind of have to pay attention to which bus you're hopping on.
And if you don't want to wait for the inner loop, there's another option that you can do too.
Golf carts!
Yeah, so Disney does rent golf carts. They are a little bit expensive.
They are.
But we found that we really enjoyed having them.
And we'll get more into that as well. You do not have to rent a golf cart through the Fort Wilderness. They do have options, the outside rental companies, they'll bring them in. There was even a cute one that had like a Cars theme, like they had Maters and Lightning McQueen overlays on the golf cart. That would be kind of cute.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were doing this trip kind of last minute, so we went with the easiest option at the time.
So anyways, you is highly suggested if you are going to get a golf cart from the Fort Wilderness is you call ahead and make reservations for that.
Especially during holiday times, because those golf carts are gone.
Months in advance.
Okay, let's go on to another mode of transportation you can do. Bike rentals.
So that's kind of cool. They have a bike barn and you can go and rent bikes and kind of loop around, or if that's how you want to get a little extra exercise to get to from your site over to the front, that's a good option.
Another mode of transportation. Well, I wouldn't know if it's mode of transportation, but it's something fun to do. They do have kayak canoes and motorized boat rentals.
So those are, of course, extra. They would be kind of fun. I think a motorized boat rental would be kind of fun just to go around Seven Seas Lagoon Bay Lake area.
Yeah, because you also could go fishing.
Okay, so there's a fishing excursion. It's an extra cost too, and of course, it's a catch and release program.
Yeah, so that you have a lot of options for something to keep you busy there. And of course, as Kim said earlier, you got Tri-Circle D Ranch.
Okay, this is the coolest place. It is incredible. They just remodeled it, so at the time they weren't letting us go through and walk it from the outside. It was just wow. They have horseback riding. It's $55 per person. It's a trail ride. That would be kind of a fun thing to do as a family.
We've never done that one.
No, maybe we'll do that.
They also have pony rides, which are $8.
That's for those that are 2 years and older and under 80 pounds.
And they also have holiday sleigh rides.
That is kind of cool. They get like almost like a huge chuck wagon and put people in, and you go around as decorated for the holidays.
Obviously, it's not a typical sleigh because Florida, snow. Last option is what Kim and I have done several times with, well, I should put Hayden into that too, right?
Yes.
As the carriage wagon rides.
So those are kind of cool. One of our favorite things is to go over, do hoopity-doo run-a-view, and afterwards, when it's kind of getting dark outside, is we like to go and do the carriage ride and look at all the different sites. Kind of one of the cool things at the Fort Wilderness is people decorate all year round. They put Disney-themed inflatables, campsite decorations, lights.
Yeah, for Christmas is a really big time. Halloween and 4th of July. People go all out. I saw people with full trailers, just a decoration so they can do their campsites.
It is really something to see if you've never seen it before.
Yeah, and even if you're not staying at Fort Wilderness, it's great to just go over there, to take the carriage ride and just see the lights.
And yeah, there's tons of people who've done like inflatables. They built almost like sets. I mean, there's a lot of creativity that goes into it, and really something I would never ever want to miss. So we've done that a few times. This last time when we went around, it was around 4th of July, so we saw a lot of 4th of July, American flags.
Stuff just going up for 4th of July.
And then also Mickey and Minnie. So it was really cute.
Going on the holiday theme here, there are golf cart parades.
So people go all out and decorate golf carts. They'll put lights on them, inflatables, things like they would have put in their campsite. They put all around the golf cart. The other nice thing about the golf cart decorating, just as a little tip, is if you're ever renting one and you went to the front where the buses are or over towards the docks, that's a good way to tell which golf cart is yours in the sea of rented golf carts.
They all look the same. They actually gave us a little magnet so we could actually put our name onto the golf cart so we knew what one was ours as well.
But I had some lights that had like little star, like red, white, and blue that I put on so I'd know which was ours. So the parades are themed. So when they do the golf cart parade, it's 4th of July. They do one for Halloween, Christmas. They also do another event for Easter, but they'll also do like a big egg hunt, holiday themed. There's supposedly a golden egg that is really fancy to find, and they actually like send out hints every hour until somebody finds it.
So yeah, that's a great time. Okay, let's go on to our next thing, and we didn't mention this earlier, is the Chippendale Campfire Sing-Along.
That is such a cool free event.
We'll link the video down below of when we went and did it. We had an awesome time doing it. It's a lot of fun.
It is incredible. You get to sing along, you get character meet and greets with Chippendale. Right now it's kind of more spread out, socially distanced, of course, but it is just kind of, it's that campy feeling. We have also done Hoopity-Doo Run-A-View and gone and done the Campfire sing-along afterwards. Yeah. So that's another thing. This is a great place to kind of go and check out, even if you're not staying there.
And there's another great thing about it. There's an RV there as well from California. It is the Smores RV.
Oh, okay, the food trucks. They sell s'mores kits, and they've got, you know, a few other snacks and drinks and stuff you can purchase, but it's always kind of fun to go up and they're singing and kids are roasting marshmallows.
And then you also, after that, you have Movie Under the Stars.
Which is at the same place, so you don't have to go anywhere else.
Yes, it's a great time, a great way to spend the evening if you really don't want to go out to the parks. So there are other activities to do if you don't feel like going to the parks and want to hang around Fort Wilderness. There's archery.
That would be so much fun. It's for those that are 7 years and older, and it's $45 per person for 75 minutes. So it is kind of it's a long event. It is a little on the pricey side.
Oh, it's Disney.
But they kind of give you instructions and classes, and they limit it to 10 people per group.
Mm-hmm. And another great thing you can do is at night they have the electrical water pageant that goes by.
That's the favorite. Is either people go out to the docks or out to the beach. It's a kind of fun time to kind of chill out and, you know, kind of relax and enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And there's another thing that we love doing. We did this every night at Fort Wilderness, and that is
Looping.
What is
Okay.
looping? So this sounds kind of funny when we say looping, but
Okay, so what it is you get in your golf cart, your car. It's traditionally the golf cart. And you go and you drive around and look at all the different RV sites and you look at the decorations, fun things like this.
Yes.
We found it was kind of a good way to decompress after the day.
yeah.
I didn't
No.
feel like we were at Walt Disney World.
And it's kind of dangerous because you're all of a sudden, that looks like a really nice RV. Maybe we should upgrade to that.
Or even I'll be like, ooh, that chair looks nice. Or, oh, that's a cool decoration. But most of the time, sometimes it's like, oh, they've got some that would be really handy for camping.
It's a lot of fun. And actually,
It
a lot
is.
of the people you get to say hi to and talk to, it's a very friendly place to be at.
It is just unique. The kind of cool thing we also did is we found this meadow that had deer. So every night we'd go back late after it was kind of really nobody there. And we sat there and just watched this family of deer.
Yeah, and they're always right by one of the 2 different types of pools that are at Fort Wilderness. And that is obviously that there are 2 pools there, which is awesome.
The Meadow swimming pool has a 67-foot corkscrew slide. Okay, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, and I mean, they looked a lot of fun. We did not use the pools while we were there, unfortunately, but they looked like a blast and they didn't look overly crowded when we saw them.
Not at all. And it's just kind of nice to have pools in multiple locations, because it is a large resort.
Okay, and there's another thing there, too, is for kids to do if you want to go old school. There are 2 arcades as well.
Yeah, we didn't check them out. We're not generally at the arcades, but that's a great way to spend some time with the kids.
And also, there are pin trading sites there as well.
Okay, this is unique to any Walt Disney World resort. It's not just at the gift stores, gift shops, and it's not just at transportation or certain restaurants, things like that. People actually do this at their campsite. So they'll have almost like if you went on a Disney cruise line and people have a little pin traders outside their stateroom. Well, they have big boards at their campsites, and of course they ask if you take one, leave one, and trade it. But it's kind of a cool thing. No other Walt Disney World resort does it, basically from room to site because it's outdoors and they can do that.
Another great thing you can do, and we would recommend to do, is joining the Facebook community.
Okay, the Fort Wilderness Facebook community is amazing. Incredible people. They're going to tell you if there's events going on. They're going to show you pictures of decorated sites. Even if you're not at the Fort Wilderness, people put up pictures. So that is a really cool thing. And it is really a cool community in a lot of ways. Because sometimes people leave treat bags out for kids or people, or they'll do scavenger hunts and say, I've left something somewhere, and they'll put it on the Facebook community. They've done, hey, come to my campsite. We're giving away hot chocolate or something like that. Just come hang out and say hi. So that's kind of nice to have that community.
Yep. And another great thing is if you want to bring your pets, you can.
Be careful.
Yes, and there is a warning with this that obviously you have to follow all the rules with leashing dogs and everything else, but there is a cautionary part of this.
So in the Facebook community this summer, there was someone who lost their cat, got out, and I don't think they ever said they actually made like multiple trips. The cool thing about the Facebook community is everybody out there was like, I hope you find your cat, or I saw a cat that looks like that out here. So everybody's kind of keeping their eye out for the cat. Understand there's wildlife here.
Yeah, it is Florida. There is wildlife. It's something to be aware of. We were, quite frankly, every night we were going out looping, we were keeping an eye out just in case we did see the kitty, and unfortunately, we never did. All right, so those are a lot of positives.
Yeah. Actually, I really loved our experience there. I thought it was very different than any other resort we'd stayed at.
Yeah, but there are some cons that we want to make sure you're aware of, and that may help you what you need to do and what you're going to bring. So the first con is obviously if you're not staying in an RV and you're staying in tents, you have to be aware of the weather.
Well, even in an RV, sometimes I think you have to be careful of the weather. But anyways, so you can imagine if you're staying in a tent and it's raining or it's humid out, or, I wouldn't want to come back after that 3 o'clock summer rain every day and find my tent is flooded.
Yeah. And the thing is when we were in our RV, it was hot summer. We kept our air conditioning on the whole time just to keep our RV cool the whole time because it was hot.
It was. So that's just kind of something, thunderstorm, lightning storms, all that if you were to tent, yeah.
And then if you're used to staying at Walt Disney World at a resort, well...
There is no mousekeeping except for the cabins, so that is a huge drawback because you're not getting those H2O products unless you buy them.
But again, that's why you bring your house on wheels.
Yeah, but I love those H2O soaps and lotions.
And talking about the cabins can be tight.
Okay, so they fit up to 6 people. There's a queen bed and a bunk bed. There's kind of, it seems like only a little space for walking in between them. And then there's a living room with a pull-out couch. So that's your 6 people and only 1 bathroom.
Yeah, we always had it in our minds that we would love to go and stay at the cabins because we didn't think we were going to drive our RV over 2,000 miles to go. We actually had some friends that stayed there and...
They ended up turning around, checking back out, and got a room over at Copper Creek Villas because they said for 2 adults and 2 teenage boys, it was not enough room for them.
Yeah, they felt cramped and tight, so it's something to make sure you're aware of if you're going to do a cabin there that you can be in tight quarters.
Right, 6 full-on adults might be rough.
Yeah, with 1 bathroom. Ew.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always the bathhouses if they had a golf cart, I guess.
And again, we talked about this earlier, but a con is obviously quick services, restaurants.
There's really could be more dining.
Yeah, I really wish there was something, like we said, Whispering Canyons or something like that, that was a little bit more sit down and...
Fun and themed. They could do something. Yeah.
Another con is, I can't state it enough, is a huge resort.
So... Not only do you have to walk over to wherever bus site if you're using the bus system, and you take that bus to the front of the resort, then you have to get on another bus to go to the parks. And the parks aren't close, so it's not like it's just a 5-minute. I think the closest is Magic Kingdom, but it's still a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, and so y'all have a lot of people merging at one point for the buses out to Magic Kingdom everywhere else, so you could be waiting or in...
Yeah,
full buses.
There really was times where you'd have to wait for the next bus to get on to go to a theme park.
So you really have to plan out if you're riding the buses, making sure you're going to take the loop bus to the main bus to the parks. So it is a lot of planning, unless you're driving your own car, which you could drive your car to the parks if you want to.
Okay. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. Keep in mind when you have advanced dining reservations, you might want to give yourself a little extra time in the parks to get there.
Another limitation is campfires. I love going to campfires, starting a campfire. That's the whole thing we do. And we brought a new type of campfire stove with us, which is a pellet stove, but we couldn't use it.
You have to be really careful. You can't just have an open campfire. And there's a lot of limitations of what kind of campfire rings you can use, things like that.
So you have to have a metal base campfire with a screen on the sides, and there are some campsites you actually have to have a top. You can't have a screen top on it. So
the screen tops you can't have at a creekside site.
Yeah, so really take a look at the website for their limitations on those, because they are specific of what you can and cannot use. And unfortunately, like us, we have a pellet campfire which doesn't spark, but they still said no.
Okay, next of course is wildlife. Again, it's Florida. There's a lot of wildlife. Some of it's great, like the deers and the turtles and the squirrels. And then there's the snakes and gators.
Yeah, something to be aware of. You're in Florida. As Captain Boat told Hayden one time when we were on the boat, honey, this is Florida. There are gators in the water.
Anywhere there's water. So just kind of be careful. You know, if you walk out, you might find something you didn't bargain for, or you don't want to maybe let your kids run as free as you would at some certain campsites.
Okay, talking about staying.
Okay, so some of the RVers, this is their full-time living. This has kind of especially become a thing lately. But at Walt Disney World, you can only stay for 30 consecutive nights. So yes, there's stories of people going to another campsite or going to a different area, coming back and camping for another 30 days. That is allowed, but you cannot stay 31 days or more.
Yeah, and we've heard of grandparents that were actually coming and they'll stay for months and do that in and out, but they have their grandkids fly in, stay with them, go to Disney World, which is a really cool thing to do. But again, yeah, that limitation, and you know, really. They want to give everybody a chance at probably the best rated RV camp park in the nation.
It is. And one of the cool things about it, like if I wanted to pick a time to stay and I were to do this, I'd want to do Halloween into like mid-November, so you're still getting the Halloween / holiday decorations, things like that. Or, I don't know, do Halloween, go somewhere and come back and do Christmas. That would be an ultimate trip.
You got a lot of options, and I don't know if I'm ready to drive 2,000 miles again.
Yeah, it'll be a long time.
So there are a couple of other things to be aware of and to know on the talking about leaving. There's large areas that pull over that people will put their trailers, and I think we've seen some RVs parked there and everything else.
Yeah, because people have gone to the park, so you can use their large parking lot, leave your RV, your trailer, whatnot in the parking lot, and then at the end of the day, go get in your RV, take off.
The thing is it is not a huge lot, and it does fill up quickly. So something to be aware of when you're doing the checkout, but it is a great spot for you to check tire pressures and everything else if you had a problem on the way out.
Okay, so I think we kind of covered it all. We loved the Fort Wilderness Resort. We would definitely go back and camp there again. There's so many great things.
It was a thing that was definitely a bucket list for us, and it may become something we do a little bit more often than what we ever thought we would.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the future.
So if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe.
And follow along with our Ohana.
And I think that's all of what we got for you. So with that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye and
Find your magic. Bye, everyone.